When solving multi-step equations, we're going to use the steps that are shown on the right side of your screen. So the first step says to draw a vertical line through our equal sign. And then step 2 says distribute and then combine like terms. For distribution, we're looking to see if we have any parentheses, and we don't. So then we look for combining like terms. And on the left-hand side, negative 2x and negative 12 are not like terms. And then on the right, we only have an x. So step 2 is done. So we move on to step 3. If there are variables on both sides of the equal sign, use inverse operations to move them to the same side. So now we do have x's on both sides of the equal sign. So we have a negative 2x on the left and then an x on the right. So as a reminder, we can put a 1 in front of the x on the left. And then because that 1x is already by itself on the right side of the equation, it's going to make more sense for us to move the negative 2x to the other side. But we can't just put it on the other side of the line. We have to use an inverse operation to move it. So the opposite of negative 2x would be plus 2x or positive 2x. And negative 2x plus 2x equals 0. Negative 12 would come down. 1x plus 2x equals 3x. Once that's completed, then we can read and write the side of the equation with the variable. So you would either have a one-step or two-step equation. Right now, we have a one-step equation, and we would read this as x times 3. And then the opposite of times 3 would be divided by 3. Negative 12 divided by 3 would give me negative 4. 3 divided by 3 is 1, which would leave me with just 1x or x. So my final answer is x equals negative 4. Let's look at a second example. We're going to start back at step 1, draw a vertical line. Step 2, distribute. We don't have any distribution because we don't have any parentheses. And then combine like terms. If we look on the left side, 4p minus 11 cannot be combined. But on the right side, we can combine negative 7p with positive 3p, keeping the signs in front with the terms. So on the left, I just bring that entire side back down because I'm not going to make any changes right now. And on the right, the 1 comes down, and then negative 7 plus 3 would give me negative 4p. There's nothing else that can be combined on each side right now. For step 3, we're looking if there are variables on both sides. And we do. We have a p on the left and on the right. So we need to move them to the same side. Here's a tip for you. It really doesn't matter which term you move. But if you move the smaller term, then you're less likely to have to deal with negatives and make a mistake because of a sign. So we have a positive 4p on the left, and on the right, we have a negative 4p. So I'm going to move the negative 4p to the other side. So the opposite would be plus 4p. And remember, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side, making sure that you line it up with the like term. So then 4p plus 4p will give me 8p. Negative 11 drops down. 1 also drops down. And then negative 4 plus 4 cancels out because it equals 0. And that's the goal, because when I move it from one side to the other, I'm trying to eliminate the variable from one of the sides. Now I only have variables on one side. So I move on to step 4, where I read and write the side of the equation with the variable. And I can read this as p times 8 minus 11. The last thing that I read was minus 11. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides. 8p drops down. Negative 11 plus 11 equals 0. 1 plus 11 equals 12. Then my next step, times 8. The opposite or inverse is divided by 8. Eight divided by 8 equals 1, which leaves me with just p. And then 12 divided by 8 would give you 1.5 or 3/2.